So once again, I'd like to say good evening and a huge, warm and heartfelt welcome to Call's Life Beyond the Looking Glass. As this is the first call, I just really wanted to introduce myself a little bit more, very briefly. Most of you, know me and know my story, but again, for people who want to watch this on replay. So I live on the south coast in Poole and Dorset. I'm 57. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot that. And I'm a single mum of three, 28, nearly 23 and nearly 17. And still got one at home. The other two are independent. All my life, I have been some kind of a business owner. Didn't fancy the idea of having a job, so tried lots of different things, traditional businesses for many years, and then in 2008, 2009, my life started to go off on a very, very different tangent, and I found myself in a very challenging situation. I was living in France at the time. I'd been there for over 20 years. Where I was literally homeless. I had no resources, and involuntarily I was separated from my 7 and 13-year-old. And so I didn't have a lot in my toolbox, which was going to be able to allow me to peel my back off the mattress every morning and put one foot in front of the other. During that time, I tried lots of different things, but I came across the whole world of personal development. And finally, not finally, but almost immediately, I realized that, this was the one thing, if I decided to harness this inner power, that would help me to keep going every day in order to rebuild my life, reunite my family, and create a different future for myself. Now, not everybody has been through this kind of dramatic circumstances, but my guess is that everybody has had some degree of challenge in some area of their life. And also, I'm going to make an educated guess, as if you're on this call this evening, there's still some things that you would like to change, or improve, or strengthen, or deepen. And this is really why, I've put this in place, because I have not only just applied the things that I have learned, but now we're getting results, real results. And so I can come with entitlement to a certain extent, of how I did completely change the trajectory of my life by working predominantly on my inner world. Because that is where all our power is. That's all where our intuition is. That's, where everything is. So that's just very, very, very briefly. So really wanted to just make a brief introduction of what this course is. And it is the first time I've taught it in English. I have taught it in French. I've just finished a 10-week course in French. So it's a little bit better now. But what I have attempted to do is join the dots in a linear or a kind of a matrix form, rather than it being, sort of a little bit scattered and haphazard. Because, I'm sure all of you are familiar to some degree of personal development, but sometimes we don't know where to start. What's point A, what's point B? And I am system mad. And I think that in order for us to be able to learn, apply, and then ultimately pass the message on to others, we need to have some kind of a formula, simple, fast, and efficient, that is something, no matter what level of personal development we're at, we can do that. And so I'm obsessed with system and simplicity. This is actually really, really simple. But like everything in life, we do tend to overcomplicate it. So I'm going to treat a few key subjects in this course. Today we're going to play a little game and have some fun. and I try and introduce as much fun and laughter as possible, because I think that having a little slightly irreverent attitude to personal development is more fun than taking it too seriously. And so we need to be able to have fun, and that's really what helps us learn more quickly. And then we're going to talk about change, a willingness to change, which is pretty much the first step, identifying what we really want most. We're going to have a whole, we're going to do one class on wealth and prosperity, maybe even two. Another on techniques of building belief. We're going to do some inner child work. That's really interesting. Mirror work. And well, work is probably not quite the right word, but you know, we're going to be doing have some fun stuff with a mirror. And then also how to develop the imagination, visualization, how to become masters of visualization using various techniques. So it's not just about, again, theoretical, it's practical techniques as well, so that you feel that when you've come off the call, that you have something in a toolbox that you can get your teeth into. Okay, and then you can get practicing. So in these few minutes, of course, I'm only going to scratch the surface of each subject, but for those of you who really want to take this seriously, there'll be stuff to do in the week. And then when we come back next week, you'll be able to tell us how you got on. And if there's been any changes or any results. Okay, so this is always about interaction. It's about listening to you, hearing, you know, and also grab a pen and a paper. You might have some questions or some remarks or observations you want to make through it. You know, it's always really worth having that to hand. We're going to talk about your inner roommate, that voice in the head that never shuts up. And we're going to pay it special attention to find out what that inner roommate is saying to us non-stop. Okay, and is it really, if it wasn't a real roommate, would that person be your roommate for very long? Probably not. Probably wouldn't be your best mate. Okay, so we're going to go do some stuff about that and what it all means, and I think that's about it. So this is a practical and scientifically based course. There's no woo-woo. It's all mathematical and scientific. We know that, you know, I know because I have applied these practices in my work, and in my life, you know, it's not just in my work, but in my own inner well-being, peace of mind, happiness, joy, tranquility. You know, it's what we really want, right? We think we want the outside things, but actually we just want the way they're going to make us feel. And so really, I know that having put this into practice daily, tens of thousands of hours of personal development, that this really works if you do it well. Okay, and it's not complicated. It is you could perhaps resume it into two things. It is about repetition. So like any skill, whether it's doing yoga like Joe, or you know, whatever we might do, or practicing a sport or an art or whatever it might be, it is about practice. Practice, you know, to sharpen the saw. It is also about belief, faith. How do we build that belief and that faith? So we keep hearing, you know, you've got to believe. Yeah, but how do I do that? Okay, so there'll be techniques of how to build belief, just like you're building your own magnificent castle or palace. Okay, you've got to build it brick by brick, that belief. And then expectancy. You know, through belief, we have expecting these things to happen. It's not about wanting something, it's about expecting it, living in a state of absolute certainty and expectancy. And we become, as a result, highly vibrational beings, and suddenly miracles start to happen in your life. You won't believe how powerful this is. There'll be moments you'll be standing there literally with your jaw dropping going, okay. All right. First of all, it's the little things, like what we call the low-hanging fruit, the stuff that, you know, that doesn't seem to like add up to much, but then little by little, as we build, then the bigger things start happening and start unfolding. Okay. And then we're going to be working as well with the technique of the definite purpose statement and the self-confidence formula. Last year, I was looking for a new mentor. I'll be honest, I was kind of plateauing where I was in my life, and in all aspects, you know, friendship, intimate love, business, you know, even in terms of my fitness and health. And I really wanted to move forward, because, you know, one impacts the other. We think it's just, oh, and I just want to be rich, don't need to worry about anything else. But actually one does impact the other. And so I went to look for a new mentor, and well, I just put it out there. I was like, right, I need a new mentor. And then lo and behold, of course, not long afterwards, I was introduced to somebody who was trained by a gentleman called Joseph Green, who was a lifelong student of Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill, as I'm sure you all know, wrote the most, you know, most read business, philosophy, and life book ever, Think and Grow Rich. And so I went to Peru twice to work with this person, and then to America, and then to Denmark to learn the techniques. And thanks to this technique, you know, 6 months later, well, I sort of started it about a year ago, and then I met this mentor in around about the summer, and then we've been using the techniques, and oh my goodness, it is literally like having a magic genie in a lamp if you apply it seriously and assiduously every single day. It works. Okay, so that I can promise you from the bottom of my heart. Everything I'm teaching you here, everything I'm sharing, because I'm not teaching, I'm just passing them, I'm just the messenger. Okay, I'm not the inventor here. There's only one truth anyway, is that we all are perfect, you know, whole and wonderful people. You know, we all make mistakes, but that's just because we've been ignorant about something. Okay, we all make mistakes, all right? No, we haven't done anything wrong, we just made a mistake. Okay, but what we're going to do here is really connect with the one central truth, is that we are perfect beings. Okay, at the moment that probably isn't, you know, the way you think so much about yourself, but we're going to get away all the, you know, take the wheat from the chaff and really work that. And this is just one way of communicating it. Now, there are thousands of books about personal development, thousands of different approaches, thousands of different messages. This is just one way. You know, I'm not the, you know, I'm not the guru. I'm not the, you know, the person who's suddenly invented something new. Not at all. This is just my way of communicating it. But I feel that with all the experience I've had and the results, is that actually we might be onto something here. So yay, right. So the first thing is I say it's scientifically based. So I have got a few notes. I just want to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. The effort you put in will reflect the result. That is, there's no such thing as something for nothing. Now, there are some really annoying people who seem to do it so easily, don't they? We've all had somebody, anybody have like that? Somebody in class at school who got straight A's and never did a stroke of work? Okay, that wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Okay, there's always somebody a bit annoying like that, right? But for most people, you know, we have to work at it. That's just the way it is. So the first thing we need to do is accept the fact, okay, I've got to work at this, right? I'm just going to surrender and accept the fact that, you know, I have to work at it. What I realize is that these people that seem to make it look easy, most of the time they don't even know why it's easy for them, but it is. Okay, they're just like, wow. I was like, yes, why is it so easy for you? Okay, but they have a special gift. And actually that gift, for the most part, is really, they have the gift of absolute focus and concentration on achieving what they want to have. And they just don't let anything else into their heads about staying focused and concentrated on what they really want or who they want to become. You know, that is, it sounds, you know, a bit almost dumb, but it's as simple as that. And so we're going to really like drill into a little bit more about, you know, why this voice in the head is basically 98% not doing us any favors whatsoever, and how we're going to get beyond that. First of all, recognize it, what it's saying, and how we're going to like gradually, you know, work through a process of changing it. And then honestly, everything will just change. So we're going to have a game. Everybody get a pen and paper.
Yep.
This is a little bit of a fun thing. It's just a fun thing, nothing very deep. Some stuff I'll go a little bit deeper, other stuff, this is just like practical and, you know. So you, on that piece of paper, you're going to draw 6 boxes. So a line in the middle and then 3 lines down. So you've got like 6 compartments, okay? 6 compartments. In the first one at the top on the left, draw a circle. Okay. In the second one, draw a triangle. In the third one, draw a staircase. In the fourth one, draw a cross. You just draw a cross. Any cross will do. In the fifth one, you draw a square. And then in the sixth one, you draw a 3 in the form of an M. Okay. Now go back to each symbol and you're going to complete this geometric form to make some kind of a drawing. Make something of it. Whatever comes to mind. Don't overthink it, just draw something. So the first one is a circle. What do you want to, you know, make a little drawing out of that circle. And do that for all 6. We'll take a couple of minutes to do that. Obviously, we're not going to go into too much detail. Each one, after you've completed it, write an adjective of what you think that represents. 1 or 2 words. Okay, so just let us all know when you've finished. Evil laugh. Get a bit more light on the subject. All right, so done your little drawings, write your adjective. Just kind of go for it. Everyone done?
Yeah.
Right. So the first drawing, the circle, is how you see yourself.
Okay.
How you see yourself. All right. The triangle is how your entourage sees you. How other people see you. Okay. Everybody's got to share in a minute. You know that, don't you? Okay. The staircase is how you see life in general. You're right there, Joe. Okay. The square is how you see your family. Okay. And the 6th one is how you see love. All right. So what I suggest is that as there's only a few of us on the call tonight, I would like everybody to just briefly introduce themselves and give a little bit of an overview of what's come up in their drawings. So who should we start with? Who wants to go first? Viv.
Hi. Before we go into it, Bridget, did I miss the one about the cross? What that was?
Oh, sugar. Yeah, sorry. Yes, I did. That's me being an airhead. That's how you see spirituality.
Okay. All right, lovely.
So,
Hi,
yeah, introduce yourself and how did that go for you?
Hi, I'm Viv. I'm from Poole, and I know a few of the ladies on the call. And I have lots of your new faces, so it's lovely to meet you all. And thank you very much, Bridget, for putting this together. I'm very excited. Okay, so my drawings. I first of all have to say my drawings I didn't struggle with. That was easy. I struggled with the word adjective. I had to even Google what that is. But I think I've got some words. So what do you want me to say? Just read out the word.
Yeah, just like say, you know, for example, for a circle, I drew this, and this is the word I came up with.
Okay, for the circle, it turned into a smiley face with hair.
Okay.
And the word I used was contentment.
Wonderful.
And
then
the
triangle?
It turned into a top hat with a face underneath, and I put wisdom.
Yes.
And with the escalator, the stairs, I turned them into an escalator. Don't look at my art, will you?
No points for nice drawings.
Yeah. And the word I've used was acceleration. All
right.
The cross, I actually drew like a cross.
Right.
And I put the word faith. And for the square, I put container. And for the 3, which was an M, which was really confusing, I put love. So.
Perfect. Well, that's all pretty positive.
Mm-hmm.
I love the one that you had, how people see you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Viv. And right, who's next?
All right, I'll go.
Go for it, Jo.
Break the awkward silence.
No awkward here.
No. So I had from the circle, I drew the sun, and my adjective was sunshine.
Yeah.
Then for the triangle, I drew a wigwam. I don't know what this one means, but for the staircase, I ended up making it into the sort of back of a dinosaur.
what adjective did you have for the triangle?
Sorry, I don't know.
What's the adjective you had for the triangle?
For the triangle, I called it a wigwam.
A wigwam.
Well, yeah, I probably
was a wigwam.
Because back to front, I don't know.
Right, and the dinosaur?
Well, I guess the wigwam would just mean home, really. Home,
yes.
Homely. So for the X, the cross, I just drew an X, and that marks the spot. But that's not what you really wanted, was it? I've got it all wrong.
No, there's no right or wrong answer here. This is just
Then for the square, I made it into a box.
What did you put?
I didn't put anything for that. Didn't quite know what to put. And then for the 3, I made into a heart and called it love.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jo. Oh, you didn't introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm Jo. I lived in Poole as well, in Dorset in the UK, and I work for Marks & Spencer's, and I also teach yoga.
Thank you, Jo.
Yeah, so that's pretty much me.
Wonderful. All right. Who's next?
I'll go next if you like. I'll go on after you. Yeah. You first.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm Sima. I live in Bournemouth, so next to Poole. I am from Poole though, so Poole link. For the circle, I drew a happy face. and wrote happy. For the triangle, I put a head on and arms and legs and put welcome.
Yay.
For the stairs, I made into a graph and put growing, which I know is not an adjective, but it was sort of going upwards.
Well, it means that's how you see life in general, growing.
For the cross, I did a X that way, and I put a box round it for sort of security.
I didn't understand everything.
Okay.
I sort of made it look like a present almost. I don't know. For the square, I put a roof and the windows on the door and said a comfortable home.
Oh, there you go. You see, comfort in the family.
For the 3 that look like an M, I put another 3 the other way round and did infinite.
Ah, wonderful. How you see love, infinite.
So that was
so nice. Thank you, Sima. Thank you. All right, who's Jenny? You want to go next?
Right, I'm Jenny. I'm also from Poole. I'm the mother of Joe.
Couldn't tell.
I also did a son, Joe, so to a son, and I put happy and bright under it. The triangle I made into like a lady, skirt and arms and legs, and I put friends, friendly. The stairs, I put 2 shoes, boots, climbing up, and literally climbing up, climbing.
Okay.
The cross, I made into oars, crossed oars, as in a boat, and I put paddling. So I don't know if I'm always paddling to keep afloat or something. The square, I put television, computer, and communicating, you know, as on Zoom, things like that.
Lovely.
And the M, side on M, I made it into like 2 people holding hands, and just put holding hands, friendly, happy,
So
I suppose. Yeah.
Well, I think that's very very who you are, if I may say, without you know, sort of wanting to immediately do a sweeping judgment, but that seems pretty accurate to me. Thank you, Jenny.
Okay.
All right, who's next?
Yeah, I don't mind. It's like
Bridget.
Yeah, hi, my name is Bridget Warburton, and I live south of Manchester in the north. I met Bridget Long on a trip to Copenhagen, but firstly in Utah. And can I just say, Bridget, thank you very, very much for doing this evening and carrying on. It's really, really kind of you. Thank you. So, right, my circle, I made that into a moon, and I just said bright. The triangle, I just said cheese.
People see you as cheese.
Cheese, triangular piece of cheese, and I just put happy because I like cheese. So I just said happy.
Perfect.
The staircase, I put vision. I'm climbing, and I vision. That's what I wrote. The cross, it was just spiritual. I just thought that was spiritual.
Okay.
The square, I wrote brick, and then foundation.
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, brick. You know, brick foundation. My father's a builder. Maybe that came from, you know. And then the final one, I just put love.
You did put love as well.
Yeah, love.
Most time when I've done this before, most people by this time somebody has put boobs.
Oh,
That was the first thought. That was the first
Occurred to me.
So I don't know if I've you know rained on anyone's parade by actually mentioning that, but yeah, I'm waiting for the boobs. I put huge nipples on it and made boobs out of it. Thank you, Bridget. It's wonderful, and thank you for your kind words. All right, who's going to go next?
I'll go next.
Zoe. Hi.
Hi everyone. I'm Zoe. I'm Scottish, but I live in London. And I know Bridget through our company. Thank you, Bridget. This is really great you're putting this on as well. So I just want to say thanks. So my first one was like others, a sun. And I put bright. The second one I drew a castle and then put queen. So I will others see me.
You as the Queen Zoe from now on. You've now been rechristened, yeah.
The stairs I did actually an escalator and a journey. The triangle I made into a timer. I didn't really have a word, but had a timer. The square I made into a home and had happiness. And the M I made into a love heart and had love.
So much love tonight. I'm just, yeah, this is amazing. Thank you. Infinite love.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, what more could we want? Thank you, Zoe. That was wonderful. And we love, well, yeah, we love you being in that castle. Definitely. Okay, so we have Gemma, Stacey, or Josina. Who would
I'll go
like
next.
Gemma.
Yes, right. Hi, I'm Gemma, everyone. I'm from Poole. And yes, so I'll start with the circle. I drew a pizza, okay? I like pizza. And I'm hungry. And I put yum.
Goes well with wine, Gem.
Yeah,
with wine.
great hair.
Yeah. So Gemma, you're in the wine business, is that right?
Yes, I'm in the wine trade.
Okay, maybe a bit
I've
of
got
a,
my own wine
bit of a link
business.
there. Yeah, amazing.
Okay, and the triangle I made into a teepee tent, and I put calm. Okay. The stairs I made into like a man running up the stairs, and I put rush. I guess I see life as always being a mad rush.
Okay. We can...
The cross I made into a treasure map, and I put adventure. The square I made into a house, and I put solid.
Yeah.
And then the M I made into like arches with a bridge with sea underneath, and I put beautiful.
There you go. Fantastic. So we have beautiful, infinite love. Okay, this is going really well.
Put boobies. I did think about it, but I didn't put boobies.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So who's next? Josine or Stacey?
I'll go next.
Okay, good.
Hi, I'm Stacey. I'm from Poole. I know Bridget because we work together quite a lot. Okay, so my diagrams. The first one, sunshine. I drew a sun. The next one, the triangle I drew into a boat, and I put adventure.
Oh.
But I didn't think that that's how other people would see me, as adventurous. I don't know about that one. The staircase I struggled with, but eventually I sort of made it into like a square, so I covered it over and I wrote whole, because I felt like that image to me wasn't whole, so I drew a square around it.
Okay.
So how I see life in general, whole. The cross, I put spiritual journey as my adjective. And the square I turned into a house and wrote home. And like many others, the M I turned into a heart and wrote love.
Thank you. Well, we're all doing pretty well, pretty grounded, full of love, home, communication. We see ourselves as sunny. You know, it's great. I mean, apart from the pizza, obviously, there's always going to be one. But, you know, that's kind of like, you know, quite a nice thing, isn't it, anyway? So it's something you treat yourself to occasionally. Josine, would you like to share your results? Introduce yourself and share your results.
Okay, hi, good evening. I'm Josina, I'm Dutch, living in Spain, and I know Bridget from the same company I work in. And so, yes, the circle, I made a smiley out of it. That was the most obvious thing to do. Then the triangle, I put a half moon underneath, so it became like a hat with and I put a clown next to it because I made it with a smiley and it seemed like a people, like a clown. Then the staircase, I visualized snakes. I put another one underneath, and so it became like 2 snakes crawling up. A bit far-fetched, but that's how that was spontaneous. What came in.
Okay.
And then the cross, I put in every corner of the cross a heart, so it became a bit like a tree. So like a nice tree, basically. Then the square, I put big ears onto it on the sides and a smiley in it, and it became a happy monkey. And then the 3, I made a heart out of it, like love. So
Okay.
yeah.
Amazing. So you see your family as a happy monkey?
Well, I didn't know at that point that it would be.
No, I know, but that's the whole point of the game, right? It's just that's actually quite cool. Like, you know, a fun thing. You know, that's what we feel. Now, listen, you know, this isn't rocket science. We're just having fun with this here. It's just really to, you know, get sort of like start sort of some fun, thought-provoking stuff. You know, obviously we're going to go deeper here, but you know, just really as well, it's great to be able to everybody to introduce each other, and thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate it. All right, so I think that if we're here today, it's because there's, you know, if we want something to change in our life, it's not because we are unhappy. It is because a natural process of life's evolution that we want to progress and grow. Okay? There's a complete difference between being dissatisfied and unhappy and the natural life or the universal law of increase. Okay? Sometimes, though, that growth or that change or that increase can be a bit scary. As we go through life, we carry with us, for the most part, what we saw, what we heard, and what we experienced before the age of 7. It becomes lodged into our subconscious mind. But in order to go further, seek more fulfillment, more meaning, more joy, more love, more peace, more inner well-being, we have to go through the process of change. Okay? So I was very curious to know where I needed to change, because we might be in a position saying, okay, something needs to change, but we actually don't know what. Okay? We don't have enough distance between ourselves and our consciousness to actually be able to be the witness to what really needs to change in order to have more life, more growth, more joy, more wealth, more health, whatever it might be, right? It's normal to want more. That is what life is. It is the progressive evolution of increase. So the first thing we have to do is stop beating ourselves up for wanting more. Of course we want more. You know, this is one hell of a journey, but it's super short. And so why not make the most of it? That's what life wants for us. It wants us to have a good time while we're here, right? All the time, not just some of the time. What if that was possible? Well, in order to have permanent joy, permanent love, permanent health, and so on and so forth, something needs to change. And most of the time we have no clue what that is, all right? So I went through a period of experimentation to try and figure out what needed to change. Didn't get me anywhere. So then I went through a certain practice a few weeks ago of surrendering to the fact that I can change, I have the will to change, and I will change. And where I need to change, life will present itself with situations in front of me that will be so clear because they will make me feel disturbed or anxious or fearful, or whatever. It's like pinpoint exactly, that's where I need to change. Now that can be many different things. It can be a fear of rejection. It can be a fear of criticism. It can be feeling guilty about something. Okay. We have what Louise Hay calls the big four, which is guilt, criticism, mainly of ourselves, okay, resentfulness, and then fear or anxiety. Okay. And so all those things take away from our joy. So I went through a process of day after day after day after day. I went through this affirmation: I can change, I have the will to change, I will change. It was just interesting to see what would come up. It took courage because I knew that things would come up that I didn't want to come up. But in order to pursue life's perfection, something has to change. By definition, if we are here on this planet as physical beings, it's because there is resistance somewhere within us. And resistance causes guilt, resentment, criticism, and anxiety. Okay? Something we're resistant about, something that he said or she did, or fear of the future of what might happen, okay? And there's this constant mental chatter inside of us, replaying what we heard, saw. It could be something from 30 years ago or something from 5 minutes ago, it doesn't matter. We're constantly recounting that in our head. Or we're all trying to be fortune tellers and try and predict what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes or the next 20 years. Well, guess what? We're not. We don't know. Okay? And so the whole point of why I've brought these calls together is to help you feel that you have a toolbox, is that when those feelings come up, you have something in that toolbox to deal with it. Okay? And the first thing is you have to just be courageous enough to say, okay, show me where I need to change. And then just life will put situations in front of you, you know, pretty damn rapidly about where it needs to change. You know, there's a little cartoon, some of you may have seen it. There's a big spokesperson at the front of a big room, and he says, who wants change? And everybody puts their hand up, right? Who's willing to change? Everybody takes their hand down. Okay? For things to change, we have to change. Yeah. For things to get better, we have to get better. And that's not judging ourselves or being critical of ourselves. It's just, okay. No judgment, no criticism. The first thing we can do is stop criticizing ourselves. We've got to stop talking ourselves small. Do you agree? Yeah. Do we ever purposely do something bad or screw up somewhere? Or, of course we don't. So why would we criticize ourselves for it? Okay. The first step is to stop criticizing ourselves. But we do it so automatically, we're not even aware that we do it. Okay. So having this, first of all, will to change, and then going through a process, not just saying, I will change, I'm happy to change. I'm excited for change. Okay. And then when life presents us with a challenging situation, it's just like, yay, an opportunity to change, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to get better, an opportunity to pursue love, happiness, joy, health, abundance, wealth, prosperity, an opportunity, because life is putting a situation in front of me, and where we do not want to look is exactly where we need to change. You know, I've read all these books, and most of them multiple times. The change doesn't have to be painful, but for the most part, it's actually uncomfortable. So I've studied at length and in detail and done courses a lot on Louise Hay's work. And she compares change, or willingness to change, like cleaning the turkey pan. Okay? So imagine at Christmas, we've cooked the turkey. Sorry if you're vegetarian, but you know what I mean. I'm just using this as a metaphor. And everybody's had a few glasses of wine. The pan has just sat there. Nobody's thought to soak it, right? And then come time to do the washing up, because it won't go in the dishwasher, right? You got to clean that pan, okay? So the first thing you do is you put some washing up liquid into it, right? And you start scrubbing. So now you haven't just got all the fat and the grease and all the crap from the turkey, you've got soap on top of it. And that ain't looking good, all right? So, you know, doesn't look good, doesn't smell good. It's just like, whoa, I can't even believe I began to eat that, okay? But you've got to get the pan clean. So you've got to keep on scrubbing. And eventually, as we wash the turkey pan, it will come clean. And this is exactly the same with what's happening us inside. You know, first of all, we have to accept that inside of us, we have these blockages. In Sanskrit, they're called samskaras. Okay? And we've got to figure out a way to let them go. And the first thing is being absolutely embracing the whole idea of inner change. Okay? Just practice letting go. So, okay. And life, if we will it and ask it to present us, to accelerate the process. We don't want this to last 30 years, right? We want to get results like faster, okay? We want to accelerate this process. We want to amplify the process. We want to open up those channels of abundance and love and all the rest of it, like a bit faster, okay? We want to open up the taps, right? And the first thing is we have to absolutely embrace entirely, without criticizing or judging ourselves, we've got to change somewhere, okay? We're not really quite sure where it is yet, but we're going to ask life to help us present us with situations which will enable us to grow and change. All right? So, you know, it's safe to change. It's okay. We can let go of our old selves. If any of you are familiar with Eckhart Tolle's work, for example, he calls it, you've got to die before you die. You've got to let go of all your old self. It's like the snake. Who was talking about snakes earlier? I think it was Jolene. It's like the snake who sheds the old skin, right? Becomes too big for his skin and then emerges into a new one. The butterfly that emerges out of the cocoon, okay? It has to struggle to get out of it, but that's what gives it the muscles in its wings. All right, so the whole thing about today is about really this week going through a whole process of being willing to change. Okay, my affirmation, after having studied a piece of work by Paramahansa Yogananda, who wrote a book called The Autobiography of a Yogi, on habits. And what we're going to do is, you know, work through a process of changing habits of thoughts. But he was the one that came up with this. Just do this multiple times a day. You can even turn it into a song. I can change. I have the will to change. I will change. I promise you, within a week, every conceivable thing that could have happened, I was just like, whoa, okay, really? Is there that much? Okay, I'm free to change. It is safe to change. I desire change. Okay, get comfortable with the whole idea of shedding that skin and moving up to the next level. All right, I'm changing and I'm excited. It's a whole new voyage of discovery. All right, simple, easy, fast, effective way of producing situations where we can look at them and go, well, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? That person that I attracted into my life because I asked life to present me with situations where I could look to see where I had an opportunity to grow and to change. Okay. They can be really big things, but as a general rule, they're like little small things. You know, how do you feel, for example, if you're driving somewhere, you're in a hurry and you get stuck behind a tractor and you can't overtake? What is the voice in your head saying at that moment? What? I'm never going to be there on time. Okay, that's just an example. Okay, you've planned an amazing family barbecue. The next thing, the heavens open and there's rain and the whole thing's rained off. How do you feel about that? Okay, can you do anything about it? No. So why complain in your head? We all do it. I'm learning with you guys, right? I have this constantly. And then I've developed certain ways to neutralize those things which are sabotaging my perfect joy, perfect peace, perfect abundance. You know, we talked at the beginning about there are certain people who just seem to just look so easy. You know, they've got perfect bodies and amazing lovers and fabulous houses, and you're just like, argh! And yet they've all got the same as us, right? 2 hands, 2 feet, you know, 2 ears, 2 eyes. So what's the difference between them and us? The only difference is the way they think. That's the only difference. So it makes sense to really only work on that. It's what we call cause and effect. We cannot plant tomato seeds and get oranges, right? We've got to sow good seeds. But before we do that, we have to go through the process of selecting those seeds and then being willing to select those seeds. Tony Robbins says that we are addicted to our problems. We are addicted to our negative thinking. In fact, when we have a thought that we are so used to, it releases endorphins physically in our body and makes us feel safe and comfortable, even if it's negative. Ooh. Makes us feel good because, oh yeah, I'm used to criticizing that person the way I mean. It makes us feel good. So when we want to let go of that negative thinking, it's uncomfortable, even though we know it's good for us, right? Just like when we were kids, eat your carrots, they're good for you. Okay, want to eat sweets instead. Okay, it literally is as a physical affliction, and our thinking is a physical affliction. And we can always, and to a point where sometimes, you know, we want to flip it to something positive, it actually makes us feel uncomfortable. Because we are so comfortable with our negative thinking. But most of the time, once again, the most important, that's the lesson for today, we've got to start going through a process of being conscious of what this thinking actually is. Because if we're not conscious of it, how can we change it? Right? So first we have to identify, okay, so what's going on inside there? Okay? And we're going to ask life, the universe, God, call it what you will, to give us a hand. Okay, I need a hand here. I'm willing to change. I want you to present. I'm excited to learn where I need to change. Please show me. I'm willing, I'm ready, and I expect it, and I want it, and I'm excited, and I'm happy, and I'm safe with it. Okay? That's all there is. I'm going to start my process of change. So this week, take one day, and every time you are consciously aware of thoughts in your head, write them down. Positive or negative. I guarantee most of them will be negative. Okay, that's okay. That's what we're here for. If it's positive, that's all well and good, but we're here to take out the weeds out of the garden. Okay, so we have this beautiful, flowering, perfect, gorgeous, abundant, luscious, wonderful outcrop. But to do that, we have to do some weeding first. Okay? So every time you have a sentence trotting in your head and you suddenly become aware of it, bear in mind most of the time we're not aware of what we think because we're so comfortable and we love them so much, our negative thoughts, okay? He did this, she did that, okay? We do it all the time, don't worry, I do it too, okay? Write it down. Leave that sentence on the table and then go back an hour later and look at it. I think, I really believe that. I can't believe I believe that. Okay, we're going to go into that a little bit more now later about money, particularly money and prosperity. It's even harder to talk about money than it is to talk about sex. Yeah. Okay, so that's the first thing. Even if you can't do it for a whole day, at least go through the exercise, or even just do it sporadically during the week. Start bringing to the conscious level the thoughts that are stopping your joy. Okay, that's the first exercise. Second one is, every time you start hear yourself criticizing yourself, stop. Stop criticizing yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror, in your underwear, without criticizing yourself. What a beautiful body I have. I am life's perfection. I am gorgeous. I am sexy. I'm desirable. Okay? Is that difficult? Yes, I know. The first thing we do is we see the flabby bits, the cellulite, whatever it might be, all right? And we could be, even like the perfect size 6 and look like a model, and they still look at themselves in the mirror and criticize themselves. Okay, do that exercise, but be aware and write it down. Write it down. This is what I said to myself when I looked at myself in the mirror in my underwear. Whoa. I bet it's not very kind. Okay. Sorry, I'm losing a little bit of light here. No, it's way too bright. All right. So no more self-criticism. Promise yourself. Write down your thoughts and go through the process of change this week. All right? Just start with that. If you feel anxiety and stuff building up, do a little micro meditation, 3 deep breaths. Get centered. Okay, I'm doing this. I'm willing to change. I'm excited about this journey. This is going to work. I'm getting results. And then one last thing, have a really good, fun time reflecting on the one thing you want most in your life right now. Just one thing. Number 1 priority. We only ever want 4 things. Health, wealth, love, or sense of purpose. Okay, it's called the perfect square of life. All right? Think about the one thing that's the most important to you right now. We're just going to focus on one thing so we can really, it's like a magnifying glass, with light going through it. I'm going to focus on one thing and get results on that, and then everything will just naturally trickle out into the other areas of your life as well. Okay? Now have a think about that. Don't try and fix it or anything, just like, have a little sit down and meditate for a few minutes and say, okay, I'm going to really think about what was the most important thing and that I would definitely like to achieve within 1 year. Okay. Do we have a deal?
Yep.
Yep.
And please have fun doing it. If you have anybody that you want to share this with, invite them to the call, share with them this week what you've learned, anything, any takeaway that you think is valuable, pass it on. I am imploring you to pass on anything you find valuable. This is how we change the world, one person at a time. Okay, we are change makers, we are innovators, we are leaders. We are the people that is going to make the world a better place. We don't have to do great big broad sweeps and become presidents or politicians. It's in our front rooms, with our neighbors, with the person at the till at Tesco, whatever it might be. Pass it on. Okay, that's the deal I'm going to ask you to do with me. This is a partnership. This is not me. This is a partnership. We're going to join hands here and be strong together. Okay, girls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so next week, come with some experiences. I go through everybody, and I don't necessarily go through everyone, but I'm going to ask you all to volunteer. So be active in the group to volunteer about your experiences, what you've applied, the differences you've noticed, funny things, sad things, good things, bad things, doesn't matter. Okay? Right?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Bridget.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Let's
Bridget.
have
Thank you
fun
very
and change the world.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. I love you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye. Bye.